All right, so by my watch, it is right at 6:05. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you first a video that we here at Douglas County produced to kind of advertise our need for substitute teachers. And what we've done is we've highlighted several of our outstanding substitute teachers that work in our district very regularly, and it kind of gives you an insight from their perspective of what it is to be a sub and why they enjoy it and why it works for them. So if you bear with me, I'm going to join my screen here to share with you the video. Hello, I am Joe Gertner, the Human Resources Director for the Douglas County School District. Our district is facing a growing substitute shortage. Quality substitute teachers, paraprofessionals, and bus drivers are critical in the day-to-day learning of our students, and we need our community to help fill these critical roles. Substitute teachers keep our classrooms open for our students. Substitute bus drivers keep our buses rolling so we can transport our students to and from school, and classified subs ensure nutritional service is able to feed our students breakfast and lunch every day. So please consider applying to be a substitute for the Douglas County School District. By becoming a substitute, you will have the opportunity to impact the education of all of the children in our community. We have all heard the African proverb that says it takes a village to raise our children. We need the villagers of Douglas County to help us educate and raise our students. Please apply to be a substitute for the Douglas County School District.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Blair, and I am a stay-at-home mom as well as a substitute teacher at Scarcelli Elementary School. It takes a village to raise your children, but our teachers also need the support of a village around them. And it's super important that they can take their day off because they're sick or a family member is sick and be able to have the continuity of learning and have a substitute who will come in and be enthusiastic and ready to work with the children. And the children also need that continuity of being able to continue to learn in their teacher's absence. It's as if you have a specialty degree, maybe you're a math major, science major, something like that, they can accommodate those wants and needs and put you maybe at the high school or just teaching math or science. I specifically enjoy teaching and working with the little children, so that's again why I'm at the elementary school, even though I do have a son at a middle school. One of the most rewarding parts of being a substitute teacher is walking through the hallway and seeing the children, and this just happened out there, and them waving to you and recognizing you, or yay, she's in my classroom today, and that they really do form an attachment to you and enjoy your teaching and feel comfortable in your presence.
Hi, I'm Jay Yankoski, a substitute teacher or guest teacher here at Douglas County School District. And the reason why I chose to be a substitute teacher is the flexibility that you have in your schedule. You might come from a background of where you're looking for a different career, or you want to, or maybe you're retired and you're looking to, to be part-time and you don't want to be fully retired. This is a great, rewarding experience that you really should think about looking into in substitute teaching.
So I know the production quality was amazing on that. That's our spectacular IT director, John Enter, who helped create that. And special thanks to Caitlin Blair and Jay Yankowski, our two subs that were the stars of that show. One thing, just a little bit of housekeeping. If you have questions, you have the ability at the bottom of your screen to raise your hand. There's a little hand signal. If you click on that, I should see that you've raised your hand, and I will answer or answer that your hand call, and you will actually be able to speak, and everyone will hear you. The other thing that you can do if you have questions is you can use our chat feature at the box or at the bottom of the screen. You would just click on chat, and then it allows you to type a question. And so I'll be watching for chats as well, but love to hear your voice also. Don't hesitate to raise your hand and ask any questions that you have. So this is going to be fairly informal. I want to talk about the type of substitutes that we have. A lot of times people, when they think about substitutes in schools, they only think about substitute teachers. We have many more positions for substitutes than just teachers. We have bus driver substitutes, which right now is really critical. Our bus drivers are stretched very short, and we only have several subs in that area. And I'm going to talk about how you go about getting qualified to be a substitute bus driver. We also have a number of classified substitute positions that do a lot of different roles that keep our schools going. Paraprofessionals is one of them. Paraprofessionals work one-on-one with our students on a daily basis and provide individual support for students who need that. We also have like playground aid substitutes, which supervise kids on the playground to ensure their safety. We have clerical subs to substitute for our secretaries. And then another very critical role to keep schools going is our nutritional services substitutes, which actually fill in for our nutritional services to ensure that we can feed our students every day. And then obviously last but not least is our substitute teachers, which take a lesson plan from the teacher, provided by the teacher, and provide instruction for the day for students to ensure that they have continuous learning while their teacher is out. I cannot stress enough how important these positions are to our school and our district and our kids. And for the last several years, substitutes have been a growing concern for our district and many districts across the country. And so we are actively working to find more subs within our community. It is the perfect job for someone like Jay said that's retired, or Caitlin said who's a stay-at-home mom, or a college student who's home for several months right now because their college is shut down. College students could have the opportunity to have a flexible job and jump in and sub anytime that they are in town or would like to. Retirees are another great option. If you are retired and you want the flexibility to work 1 or 2 days a week, or when you're in town, when you're not on vacation. So it provides you a lot of flexibility. You also have the option as a sub to work at specific sites. Like if you have a student or a child that goes to Douglas High School, or like Caitlin, one of the elementary schools, you can sub specifically at those schools. And we do find that subs find their niche and find schools that they are most comfortable at and spend a lot of time at those schools. So as far as becoming a substitute teacher, there are some requirements that you have to do to get licensed by the state of Nevada, and there are 2 options for that licensure. The first thing that you need to do for all these positions is you need to apply to our school district for any of these positions. And that is a pretty easy process. It's online. If you go to our website and into the human resources page within our district website, at the very top of the screen is current job openings, and you click on that link and you fill out the digital application. It's very simple. For a substitute teacher, the process to get licensed is also fairly simple. It's a little bit time consuming in the sense that not as far as the workload for you time consuming, but it takes some time for the State Department to process your application. And the reason for that is anyone who applies must get fingerprinted, and your fingerprints actually go through the FBI database just to ensure the safety of our students, and that's what takes the time to get the licensing back. But to apply for a standard substitute license, you would go to the Nevada Department of Education website and create an OPAL account, OPAL. And to apply for a standard license, you have to have a copy of your driver's license to download. You will have to provide 60 college credits that verify 60 college credits, and there is a licensure fee for them to process your license. The other option, and I know that, and I see some names on here of people that I've talked to, another option for people who are interested in subbing is an emergency substitute license, which is good for 3 years. And this may be a great option for college students who don't have 60 credits. Maybe you've done a semester of school and you have 12 credits. An emergency license only requires several things. One, again, you go to the Nevada Department of Ed website and create an OPAL account, which is how you apply for your license. For an emergency sub license, you need, again, a copy of your driver's license, a copy of your high school diploma, and a signed emergency sub request form signed by me. And if this is a route that you want to go and you're interested in looking at an emergency sub license, I would ask that you either call us here at the Douglas County School District, and I will get you a signed copy of that you turn into the State Department of Ed. And the last thing is they will require you for both of those licenses, for a standard sub license and emergency sub license, to get fingerprinted and supply them with the fingerprint card that's completed by either local law enforcement agency, or there are digital fingerprinting agencies in Carson City that actually submit the fingerprints digitally to the State Department, which actually speeds the process up a little. As far as getting a teaching license, either standard or emergency substitute license, are there any questions out there? And you can again throw those in the chat, or you can raise your hand and I'll bring you on and make you part of this presentation. Okay, seeing no questions at this time, but if you have any, jump in at any point. I would tell you that you can call our Human Resources Department here at Douglas County School District at any time over the next couple of days. If you have questions, you can call and ask for me, and I can walk you through that process to help you get going on that and get that application into the State Department. To become a classified substitute is much easier than that. There's no state license required. To be a classified sub that works as like a paraprofessional or in our nutritional services or as clerical staff, all you need to do is go online and apply. And for that, again, we will have you fingerprinted locally, and it's actually a fairly quick process. So I'm going to stop. There's some questions coming in and try and answer them as we go along. So I have a question from Julie. Will a high school transcript work in lieu of a diploma? When I reached out to the state about this earlier this week, and they require a diploma. You could reach out to the State Department and shoot them an email and see if they take a transcript, but it was relayed to me from the State Department that it needs to be a high school diploma. Next question, if you can't locate your undergrad transcript, can you submit a graduate degree transcript? Yes, that would definitely work, and cover your need for the 60 credits. So again, the transcript versus diploma question has come up. What I will do is I will reach back out to the state and ask that question again. And if you are one of the people inquiring about transcripts versus high school diploma, please send me an email tonight. And before we get off, I will share my email address with you. I'll type it up and share my screen so everyone can see it. So question is, when is a good time to call and ask about getting a signature for you for an emergency sublicense? There's two things that you can do, Sandra. You can call anytime here between 7 and 4, and most days I'm here and I'll try and take the call. If not, the people in my office have that information. Your other option is you can email it to me and I will email you the signed copy right away. That's probably the quickest and easiest way to go. Question here is, how long are the fingerprints good for? I had mine done when I helped. So it's a good question. Fingerprints are good for 5 years in Nevada, and as far as a substitute license, or as far as to work in our district. So if you were fingerprinted like as a volunteer for a coach for us 8 years ago, we would need you to do that again. So the next question is, I've already applied, past review, just waiting for background. I've just been waiting for final approval. In the meantime, should I get an emergency signature or signed form? So Andrew, if you have the 60 credits and you have already submitted your license, then you do not need that emergency sub license. It will not speed up the process for you. The thing that holds that up is the fingerprinting. It takes time for them to get that through the FBI watch list. It's obviously a good practice because we are working with kids, and they're our most precious commodity. We want them safe. That's why the background check is so important. But the form will not make it faster if you have all the requirements for a standard sub license. So you would not need that. So approximately how long does the application process take for substitute teaching? So for our district, the process, you could do it in less than an hour. It is not a long process. As you fill it out, I think it's approximately 5 pages. Some of the pages are just check boxes where you go and answer yes or no questions. There are some, brief questions about what's your philosophy of education. Our expectation for substitute is that portion is very brief. And so really you can complete the substitute application in less than an hour. So the question here is, can you apply to be a substitute teacher and a classified substitute? You absolutely can, and the pay is comparable, and there's a need for both, as I said. So if that interests you, you can do that. And honestly, we have need for teachers every day. You can talk to a handful of our substitutes that literally sub every single day because the need is there. But if you had both, you would definitely be able to work every day if that was your goal. So I have a high school diploma from Australia and a bachelor's of education. If I just want to substitute, can I apply for the emergency sub, or do I need to go through the long process of getting my credentials? You do not need to. So the emergency sub license is good for 3 years. If you did want to go that route and get the emergency sub, you would just need to have your high school diploma and you could get the emergency sub license. You would not need to go through the process of getting your transcripts from your university in Australia. So the next question is, from start to finish, how long does it take to get a license typically? This time of year, it's shorter than in the summer. In the summer, they have so many new teachers that have either just graduated for college or are moving to our state that during the summer, there's always a backlog, and it takes 6 to 8 weeks after you complete your application. I've been told by the State Department they are running, once the application is complete, they're processing the application almost immediately. It's the fingerprints that take time, and what they tell you is that can be from a 4 to 6 week process. I've heard from a couple people that it took as little as 3 weeks in the last month or so. So it is a little bit quicker now than in the summertime. So question is, do you know anything about the verifiable teaching experience question on the sub-license application? I just moved here and I subbed in Southern California for over a year, and I'm not sure if that counts as verifiable teaching experience. Yes, we would want you to list that on your application that lets us know that you have had substitute experience, and so that is definitely verifiable teaching experience, and you would want to list that on your application. So base pay, good question. For a substitute teacher, the daily rate of pay, and we have two different, well, we have several different cases for substitute teachers. The Valley schools here down in the Carson Valley are slightly different than up at Whitell High School because they are a 4-day week. Their days are longer. So in the Valley, the sub rate of pay is $102 a day. And during that time, you also get a lunch break of 30 minutes. And so that's a total of 7 hours with a 30-minute break. The daily rate of pay at Whitell High School, if you live up at the lake or if you're willing to drive up there, is $120 a day, which is 8.25 hours with a 30-minute lunch break. We also have something that is called a long-term substitute, and that's anyone that subs for over 20 days consecutively. Their daily rate jumps from $102 a day to $192 a day. And those positions are not common. We'll typically have 1 or 2 of those throughout the school year. And those happen when either someone is seriously ill or is having a baby and needs to be gone for an extended period of time. And then as far as classified subs, the hourly rate ranges from $13 an hour up to $19 an hour, depending on what you're filling. So for paraprofessionals like playgrounds aides, it starts at $13.14 an hour. For classroom aid, it starts at $13.20. For a special education para, it starts at $13.20 an hour also, and then it kind of goes up from there depending on what spot you fill. So I taught math and science as an unlicensed elementary teacher at a private school in Idaho. Is that verified teaching? Yes, it is. And if it, we can talk about that more in detail, Michael, but as far as a substitute teaching position goes, that is fantastic experience. You know the job and you're ready to go if you've done that. I have a bachelor's degree. Do I need to request a certified copy of my degree for submittal with my application? So that's a good question. The State Department does require an official transcript. There's several ways to do that. There's an online way that makes it really quick for you, and if you go onto the state website, they can explain that to you. But you do need an official transcript to verify your 60 credits. Question is, so long-term sub is for the same teacher for 20 days. So it doesn't have to be the same teacher. We actually have a sub right now that was a long-term sub for a teacher that was out on maternity leave. That teacher came back and another teacher went out within a couple days, and they moved from one sub spot directly to another. So it doesn't have to be the same teacher. It has to be just 20 consecutive days. And honestly, we're flexible with people on that. If they work 20 days and then there's a break because of something that's out of their control, we keep them at the long-term rate. So bus driver subs, and I'm going to talk about bus drivers in a minute, but they start at $12.87 an hour, and after 40 hours of training, you jump up to $15.88. So that's a great question. And with that, let's see, so great question here. If accepted and once licensed, is there any orientation for those that have not taught before? That is something that we do every year. And Gary, that's a great question. What I would say to all of you is that we have some professional development trainers on our staff that have specific training for substitute teachers. And what I would ask you to do as you get your license and you're ready to start, I would ask that you let me know when you're ready to go, and we will get you set up with some in-service training about best practices for subs, classroom management, things like that, just to help you be more comfortable in the classroom. It's definitely a new experience, and I will tell you that one of the things working at schools my entire adult life, there at every school there are a large number of subs that become just a part of the team. They're there almost every day. They know all the staff, they know all the kids. But when you first walk in the door as a sub for the first time, it's a little odd. You're in a new place with a lot of new people and kids and that whole piece. So it is really beneficial to let us know if as you start subbing that you're brand new to it, so that we can provide you that training. That's a fantastic question. So the question is, which position is in the most dire need of subs right now? Our two most dire spots are substitute teachers and substitute bus drivers. And the reason for that is with like paraprofessionals and clerical, we can continue to operate if we have those positions unfilled. But if say we couldn't run our buses and get kids to school, that could lead to some school closures. And same with teachers. If we ever were in a position where we couldn't cover the substitute needs of our teachers, it could potentially close schools. So our substitute teachers and bus driver subs are critical to the daily operation of our school. Next question, I'm interested in getting certified as a teacher. I'm a retired Army officer. Will subbing in the meantime be a good idea? Absolutely. And I can tell you this year alone, we have hired, I think, 4 substitute teachers that had either been working on their teaching license and just subbed until they were able to complete college and get that. But nothing prepares you better for teaching than substituting. So it is a great way to, 1, get experience as a teacher, and 2, get to know people within the schools. And you'll find, as I said, the more time you sub, the more you just become part of the school and part of the team. You get to know the administrators, the teachers, and all the other staff and all the kids. So it's a great experience. And there is a program out there specifically designed to help veterans get into teaching. And so, Michael, if you want to call me and talk to me about that, I can point you in that direction. So there's a question about bus drivers, and the question is, in terms of bus drivers, can you elect to drive only in the afternoon? So there is that flexibility to a point. One of the challenges with that is if we need a substitute to cover the routes for the entire day, that's a great need for us. But Gary, what there is a lot of options for is, and right now there's not a lot of these options because of COVID. We're not taking like athletic events, but all of our activities that normally take place are on top of our normal bus routes. And oftentimes, either a sub will cover the normal route and the full-time bus driver will take kids to an athletic event like a football game to McQueen High School while substitute drives their route in the afternoon. So that is an option. There is that flexibility. So can you be a substitute for multiple positions? Yes, you can. You can be a classified sub and a certified sub, or a teaching sub. Questions have slowed down. So the process for becoming either a classified sub is literally go to our website, Douglas County School District's website, go to the HR page and apply. And we will start using you as a sub. The only thing that takes some time with that is the fingerprinting aspect, which goes through our local law enforcement. So it's much faster than through the State Department. To be a substitute bus driver it's kind of a neat process that we've set up here in Douglas County. Once you're hired as a substitute bus driver, we pay you for 40 hours of training, and we actually train you to be a bus driver and give you all the training that you need to get your commercial driver's license. While you're going through the training, like I said a minute ago, you earn $12.87 an hour. Once you pass your CDL as a substitute and have that CDL license and start driving buses, the pay jumps up to $15.88 an hour. And I will tell you, most of our substitute bus drivers end up becoming full-time bus drivers. Once they get that license, they often just roll right into full-time bus drivers. I'll tell you, our bus driver situation has me concerned enough that this summer, when things slow down with school, I'm going to go through our district training and get my commercial driver's license so I can drive bus if we ever need it. So Roger, if you have your substitute license, you do not need to get fingerprinted. You are, sorry, the lights just went off in my office here. If you're already licensed, you just apply it as a sub and you're ready to go. Are there any other questions out there? Hold on a second. I'm gonna turn my lights back on. Any other questions? I will tell you, it is, I mean, I'm new to my district or my office here, my job here at the district office. I've worked in schools my entire adult life, and at every school I've ever worked at, I've watched subs do amazing things for our students. They come into classrooms and they take a teacher's lessons plan and they run with it, and they get to know the kids, they build relationships with the kids, they end up coming to sporting events to watch the kids. It's a great opportunity, and it's not an easy job, but it is, it's something that is so critical to the education of our kids. And as community members here in Douglas County, I really appreciate you joining to learn about the opportunity here in town, because we are a great community. And in the video, I said it and Caitlin said it, but it takes our whole town to raise our kids. And this is just one example. We're in a situation where we have a sub shortage. Since I sent out my email and phone message to parents 2 weeks ago, we've had about 20 phone calls inquiring about how can we help, how can we sub, and that's just how our community is. And now we have 30 some odd people here today. So the question is, and this is a good question, if you have a background in multiple subjects, do you or someone else help decide where you should sub? So that's a great question, Gary. And honestly, our teachers are trained to leave lesson plans that me as a non-math person could walk into a math room and teach the lesson. I will tell you, there are certain subjects it's a lot better to have a background in, like math and science, to walk into the classroom and teach those classes. But really, Gary, it's up to you. If you are a math guy and you want to teach math classes only, you can focus on those, and we have people that do that. We have our secondary substitute of the year this year is a retired engineer from NOAA, or I think he's a computer science guy. He only does math and science classes because it's what he knows, it's what he likes. We have other subs that sub everything. They sub welding, auto, PE. So if there is something that you're more comfortable in, you can select just those. And what you will find likely is that you'll find an age that you prefer. You know, you may find that you love working with the little kids because they're so excited to see you, and your place is elementary, or you may like the maturity of high school kids and because they get your jokes. So that piece is totally up to you. If it's a long-term sub position, we try to find someone with a background in those areas. So substitute teaching at this point will be in person. We are opened at this point, and hopefully we'll, I'm knocking on wood, continue to stay open. And the governor doesn't have reason to shut us down because our kids need to be in school. They learn so much better with a teacher in front of them. What someone asked for my direct phone number, so I'm going to type into the chat my number and my email address, and so that you can call in here, and anyone that answers in my office can give you information about this. But you obviously, if I'm here, I will take your call and talk to you. So I'm going to enter that in. If there's no more questions, I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you responding to the need of our district. It really is important for our kids. And have a wonderful night and a great Thanksgiving. If you stay on here for just a second, I'm going to add my phone number and my email. John Enter just added my email. So the question is, can you be a substitute for multiple positions? Yes, you can apply to be a classified sub and a certified sub to teach classes. And, you know, we would encourage you to do that. One, it gives you more opportunities to sub more often. And honestly, as a district, it makes you more versatile for us. When we have a need, we can call you for different areas. Are there any other questions out there? I don't want to sign off if anyone has any questions. So John just added my phone number. Thank you, John, and my email address. So if you want to write those down or copy paste them, that'd be great. Okay, well, seeing no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you for your time and interest. Hopefully we'll see you in our classroom soon, or driving our buses, or some other capacity in our school district. Thanks a lot and have a great evening.